So in the previous ace, we spoke about that Yaakov Avinu took Avnei Amokim, took Asius. They compared Avonim to Asius, Atera, or Asius Atfila, and you put them together. They become one, and Yaakov Avinu was able to be Miyachad Yechudim that in the highest Madrega in Atzilus, basically the others were Neshamas Atzilus, and through his Aveda they connected to the highest level, to Teda, that is higher from Chochmei Loya, and they connected with, it became from all these Ashes became one Os, the Os Yud, that was the beginning of creation, and this is what the others were able to do, is in the Sheirish, higher from the Bittul, from Ma, the Chochma, Keach Ma, they were able to reach out into the Keches of Rotzin, Keser, which is higher from Chochma, Reishis Chochma, and they were able to reach out, and Ebe Moasa Aboinim Hosher Rish Pino by Yosem Mirashesov, higher from Mirashesov is higher from Mirashesov, higher from his head, which is higher from Chochma, which is Keser, Elyin, and they were able to be Miyachad Yechudim over there to connect to Hashem through Teira to Atzmus. So in this Us is going to speak about that the Oves, they L'chatchila are Neshamas Atzilus, and they're L'chatchila connected, and for them to connect in the highest level and even higher is Taka. There's a method to it. There's Aveda, Mamata Almaila, then Mamayla Lamata lifts you up, the Amshacha lifts you up, Asaros to the Tata, Asaros to the Leila, but then there's Asaros to the Leila, and you reach up to the highest level. Now it seems like he's saying that the Tachlis is that each and every one of us, through the Keach of the Ovis, is able to come to that Aveda, and not only to come to that Aveda, but bring down that level of Atzmus. After we, through our Aveda here, and connect through Teda mitzvahs, the Eises HaTeda, mitzvahs, Alpaim Shana Kodma Teda Le'elam, on a higher level from Elam, to the level of Atzmus, but we bring it down here Lamata, that this tremendous level of Atzmus that will be when Mashiach comes, is through our Aveda now, that we can accomplish. Not only we should get uplifted Lamaila to connect to a higher level than we originally come from, but nevertheless we should be able to bring that higher level that we're connecting to bring it down here Lamata. He took from Avnei Amokim, this is many stones, and they became one stone. He went to sleep. Al derech, like when the Eden went to sleep before Matan Torah, why did they go to sleep? Because they wanted to their neshama to go up to a very high level. So al derech zeh, vayishkav amokim ahu, vayishkav is yesh chof beis, that he had the accomplishment of the chof beis esias hatera, chof beis asfon deraisa the esias hatera. So through the limud hatera that culminated from the shem ve'ever, and now over here vayishkav amokim ahu yesh chof beis, he connected his neshama and his through his aveda to the highest level of Paim Shona Kod Miteler Leilom. Kihine lach asher Yankov l'chol b'chinas eises shenikra avodim. Yankov was the one who uplifted all these eises through his limud hatera, through his avedas Hashem. Yisif v'nichlalu be'even echad the yud the chochmei elam. And all these letters culminated and got uplifted to the highest level of Yud, which is the first letter of Yud Kei Vav Kei, the first letter of creation. And this is the first condensed Tzimtzum, and all the letters are included in this Yud that are Nis'ala through the Aveda from Yankev, and with the Teda, the Eishis HaTeda. They were Nichelu Be'evan Echad, the Yud, the Chachmei Lo, Vayosem, Rashes of Lamailo, higher than his head, B'Pchinas Makiv the Keser HaKloli. And he reached to that level of Makiv from Keser HaKloli. Is hine acharolo bittul zelim kere the kulam. After this bittul, after this halo, after uplifting himself through that bittul, through the makir, to the makir of all of it, of the whole creation, is chazar v'him shchakach li is b'chinas gilu er atmos esev mamesh k'meshu b'atzmosei. In turn, he brought down this, where he lifted himself up, brought it down, that he lifted himself to the level of Atzmos of Mamish, so he was able to connect and cause the Gilu Er Atzmos of Mamish Kmei Shehu B'Atzmosei, to bring down that Gilui from Atzmos, the way it's in Atzmosei, Shenikra Yesha Amiti, that this level of Atzmos is the real existence, nothing else, Yesha Amiti, K'mei Lahanchil Eha Beyesh, to inherit, to those who are in love with the Eibishter, they connect to Hashem, they in return get rewarded. Those are the ones who are in love with the Yesh HaMiti, with the Eibishter. This will be when we will see this Isgalus in Elam Haba, when Mashiach comes. Sometimes you talk about Elam Haba after 120 years, but there's many Vazi Ve'ore. But when you talk Elam Haba, where Asmos will be in this Gala, you talk about Yimei Mashiach. She's Gala, Asmos is Borich. B'chov Beis Asmon de Raisa, Kiyadua. De Raisa Mechochma Ilo Nafkis. Hainu Mebchinas HaChochma Agduma Shabbat is Borich Mamesh. This Teda, that's Alpayim Tshana Kod Miteler Le'elam, that will bring this Gala Be'elam Habed, the Chov Beis Eshes from Teda, and the combinations of the 22 letters comes from the Chochmei Eloah. What is Chochmei Eloah? Machshava Agduma Shabbat Musa Yisbarich. This is Kmeshkos Vayetz Imun. That Teda is the tool with which the Eibishter created the world. The blueprints. Alpayim Shana Kedem Shehitz Labara. Alpayim Shana is 2,000 years, but it doesn't mean years in years, but it means in levels. Meshkos of Hashem Kanoni Reishis Dake Alpayim Shana Kedem Shehitz Labara. That the Eibishter already bought me, he had me. It says in Teda, the Iyam from Vadaber of Bnei Yisrael. So there in Machshava Agduma Da'ak, in Machshava Agduma in Batz Musei, there was already a Paim Shana called Miteler Le'elam. Teda is higher before the Brias Ha'elam, and Yidden were already written over there, so they are Yisrael Machshava in the highest level. Shkos of Ayakan Rish Darke. Kein lach, Hashem B'chinas Chochmei Lo and Kodah the Yud. Nis'al Olamaylo and B'chinas Makiv the Keser Kanal. After we learn and understand that Chochmei Lo And that's the Nekuda from the Yud, was all Eishes, seinen Kol and them Nekuda from the Yud, all Eishes HaTeira. And all Eishes, Masora Mamores, is this all Lamailo B'chnes Makiv the Keser Canal, is Azai al Dezeo Yochel Azir, is once this tremendous level that Yaakov was able to reach through his limud atera and kima mitzvahs. Is azay al dezeo yochel lazer al hamshich ma'asman in so b'chochma shebetera akduma anal. When he reached that level, he was able to hold on to that level, be mamshich that level back here lamata. Love al hamshich ma'asman in so b'chochma shebetera akduma anal. Love begilu lamata. He is able to be mamshich. It should come begilui lamata over here. B'chov beis eisius in the limud atera from the chov beis eisius from Aspan deraisa. Is v'zeu vayishkav yesh chov beis shebeisius atera. This is the real yesh ha'amiti the eibishter chov beis. So the chov beis eisius in the tera. Umezeu yesheresh chodosh lechadesh ma'aser breishis beisius hadibur elyin. Shenikra Avnei Amokim B'chlal Canal, and this was Er Chodosh to be Mechadash in Elam. There's a new Er Chodosh that after he created the world, there through Teira we're Mamshich Er Chodosh B'chlal. Mishkosov Bereishis B'Shvil HaTeira Shenikra Reishis Chulu V'dal. So it is the Teira that ultimately is Mamshich Er Chodosh through the Limud HaTeira and the Eishis HaTeira that we learn here. We connect L'mayla. And by the Oves, it was not just a connection behelem. By the Oves, they were able to be mamshechit, and they were in that madrege. He knew, he understood, and he was clear about it all. By us, it's still behelem till Mashiach comes. We still don't see it, but through the keches of the Oves, we also accomplish the same, especially after Matan Torah. The Oves were able to, through their Aveda, be mamshich keser elyon from chochmei Eloah in from atzmos to that the air should be mekusher to a prime shona kol material leilam, that this air should become a air chodesh and be mechadish welt through the asman deraisa. But all this is happened where at that, so to speak, that the Oves were able to do their Aveda that had an effect l'mayla, that in Atzilus, the connection in Atzilus from the Eibishter with Atzilus, there was an Eir Chodosh in Atzilus, so to speak. The connection was done in the Elam Azaruch and l'mayla in the Elam Atzilus. And like it says something similar, David HaMelech, David HaMelech, when he was a great tzaddik, so when he did his Teira, when he learned his Teira, is givorn hayichud l'mayla, the Teira shomayla mit HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So that's the Avedas HaTzadikim, that they're able to be miyachad yichudim l'mayla, v'lasis l'mayla in illness, and they saw it and felt it and lived with it, but it really didn't really permeate in this world, and certainly not in a everlasting way. Is v'zeo vayishkav yesh chav beis, that it's the yesh chav beis, the eis atera canal. After he went to sleep, in other words, in his sleep, they say that when a person learns all day, whether it's Gemara, whether it's Chassidus, whatever, a person sits and learns, they're licht and lernen, so he dreams about it at night. He sometimes mechadish chedushim in his dreams at night, because at night a yid who's devoted to Hashem, with all his God, with all his fibers, and he learns the whole time. So when his neshama goes up, he's even aware of that too, and he dreams in his dreams chedushim in Torah. so on and so forth. So it's Adarabah, it's more begoli by him, not so much connected to his guf. His neshama is more lighting him up, and the tzaddikim are aware of it. But so therefore, when Yaakov went to sleep and he saw all these yichudim that he did, that was normal, that he saw tremendous yichudim l'maylo, the way a tzaddik accomplishes through his aveda. But when he comes back and v'niglo elov Hashem b'mokem hazeh, and he had that gilui, that revelation over here, l'mato. Over here he said, Omar ochen yesh avai b'mokem hazeh. He said, Pirush sheyochol shem avai da'atzilus lovi v'gilui gomer b'mokem hazeh. That he realized that his aveda is not just over here, so it should affect somewhere in the higher ilmes aruchnim, but he realized that this aveda, after it accomplishes its inyonim in the ilmes holyenim in the aveda aruchnis, it could actually be revealed down here lamato. And he realized that this is the place, and this over here is the Shara Shemayim, the Beis Elikim, Shu'eis is Ateidah, Shenikra Echolei Lo, the Kutchabrichu. When you take these Asias, and you say they're like Avonim, and they make a room, and they make a Heichal, is actually these Asias that made that Heichal, these Avonim that made that Heichal. This is happening right here, Zeh Shara Shemayim. And here's the Heichal, the Kutchabrichu, right here. Ki ein zeh ki im Beis Elikim. Mishkos David, Acha shalti shifti b'Beis Havai. David also wanted to be shifti b'Beis Havai. Over here, Lamato should be shifti b'Beis Havai. V'zeh shara Shemayim oyenim, d'bchinis makiv d'keser hakloli anal, sheyochol lovi b'gilui b'shar zeh, d'shar Shemayim oyenim. From P'chines Makiv the Keser HaKloli, that Madrege, it should be able to come Begilu in the Shar Zeh. They say when by Nilas, the Nilas Hashar, the gates are closed. So the Rebbe says it's not closed on you, but Adarabah, the Rebbe closes the gate and takes you in, and Dafke then you could be Mispal, and it could be Mekubal all the Tfilas. Because the Eibishter, Imi Malki B'chidoi, that all the Eden are in the highest Madrega, Hashem V'Olakim, Shema Yisrael, and V'chulu. Hu Masha Yochel is Amshach Zrotz Neil B'Teira Nigus Lanu B'Choch Magduma. When a Yid learns Teira, whether it's Nigle, whether it's Chassidus, is you call wie the Lashon dort na Yikodesh Baruch Hu Yeshiv V'Leimet Connected. In other words, he realized as Ken Zayin Am Shochas Rotzen Elyon, the Eibishter wants this Rotzen Elyon, that he created the world, and he created the world with Teira, and that highest Madrege from Rotzen Elyon, the way it is Bat Musa in Keser Elyon in Chochmei Eloah, in the Rotzen Elyon, that could come down here, and it could be here. This whole Rotzen this level could be here in the Teira Anigus Lonu B'Choch Magdume V'Hainu B'Eisias HaTeira, simply in the Eisias HaTeira. Shenikra Sefer V'Sipur. That, in other words, there's Madregas. There's Sefer HaTeira, the way it's Sefer. There's Sipur. The Hainu Teira Shibksav. There's Shbalpek. Measure is Boyer. And I would also add, Sipur is Ma'aseh Tzadikim. In other words, every Yid could connect to Hashem, whether it's through Nigle, whether it's through Chassidus, and whether it's even through Ma'aseh Tzadikim, because it's all a kurs, and you connect to Hashem. No matter what level you are, whether a higher level or a lower level, you're connected to Hashem. There's no difference between the higher level, the lower level, whether it's through Chassidus, whether it's through Nigle, whether it's through Ma'aseh Tzadikim, so to speak. everyone on his level is connected to Hashem, the big tzaddik and the little tzaddik and the big madrega and the middle madrega and the lower madrega. Do the best you can, and you're connected to Hashem. וזהו וישכים יעקב הבקר שהוא בחינס חסד כל hayim. So he woke up in the morning, vayikach zev and Hashem Midrash Ezov, b'bchinas habitul ve'elo l'maylo. It became one heaven, and he put it by his head and higher than his head. In other words, there was a beetle over there that was a higher beetle than Chochmah. Chochmah is the highest beetle, and this gets even a higher beetle from the Rotzen, that his whole Rotzen in turn is connected to and bottled to Hashem. So he gets uplifted from that beetle, L'maylo. When this was after Vayishka B'mokim, what is Vayishka B'mokim? Sheshochav Balaylo Shu B'chinas Er Chezer L'kadmusei. That when a person goes to sleep in sort of in darkness, in other words, the Er Chezer, the Aveda Mumata L'maylo. When you describe Midas Lailo, Midas Yem is like the Avedas HaTzadikim, where it's clear and it's full of light and air and Lakus. And Midas Lailo is the Er Chezer, the Aveda from Baal Tshuva. K'maimer, Bayem Yeshev Esek B'Terem. So there's the Aveda from Yem, that's the Aveda from Terem, Aveda from Tzadikim. Ubalayla Rechev Al Kruv Kal V'Shod B'Chinas Elef is Vayosem Esa Matzevo. What is Vayosem Esa Matzevo? There's a certain underpinning. You put something under the Matzevo. Pirush Matzevo K'mesh Masimim Matzeves Even. There's when you put a rock, she Yizkvu as an Even Amunach Be'eretz. You have to put in a rock, like a foundation rock, and then once you put that down, a stone can stand on it. And you stand it up. It should be standing as a tall wall, a tall building. Kizkivas levena, just like you put bricks, that it stood up, but it was standing straight and tall. So all these madregas ha'aveda is the foundation of being mamshich, these avonim, and it should be a foundation for a heichal. A heichal is the Hesias HaTeira. A heichal is the heichal Elikus, the Bein Beis HaMikdash, Ein Zekim Beis Hashem. So this is that it means Vayosem Esa Matzeva, that it was on a strong foundation, whether it was the Avedas HaTzadikim or the Avedas from Bali Tshuva. This is the Ian, the B'china from the Amshach, when you read this, when the air comes from L'mayla L'mata. And the air, that comes from the highest level. When it comes down from the highest level, it comes down to the lowest level. And that's the straight way. That's the Aveda from the Tzadikim. How does this happen? From the Yud becomes a Vav. The beginning of a Vav is a Yud. So first there's the bittul of the Yud. First there's the possibility of and the nucleus of the whole creation of the world in that Yud. And after you're able to condense all that you can condense in that yud, from this becomes Amshocha Avav Lamata in Elmis, to give him Metzias for Elmis, for world. Is Achar Kach Nimshach Min HaYud Kaf Gotzer. From the yud is comes the vav, comes a stick that comes down from the dat, from the yud. Iskach hoin am shocher de chochmei lo de teiro shehi yud nimshach lamato mato b'abya v'nikro teiro da tzilus v'teiro de bria shalem nim gan eden elyin ad teiro da siya nigus lanu. What he's saying here is that the tzaddik, through his aveda, is able to connect from the highest madrege, that it should start coming down in the Seder Ishtalshalus, and it should come down in Atzilus, from Atzilus into Bria, from Bria in Yitzirah, and from Yitzirah in Asiyah. So there's a madreges, there's Amshocher from the Torah, the way it's in the Yud, to come down in the Vav, to come down in all the elements. This is what the Tzaddik is able to be mamshich, but it comes down lower, 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 lower. In the Seder Ishtalshalus, he's able to tap into the highest level, able to trigger that Hamshocha Milmaila, that it should come down lower, 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 till in Gan Eden Elyon, till in Gan Eden Atachten, till in the El Masiyah Niglas Lanu. Is Kiyadua B'chinas Akav, Shu B'chinas Hamshocha V'Yerida Mikvei El Namuch, that there is Hamshocha in Yerida from the highest level that comes down to the lowest level. Now he brings in one more thing. He says, "Hu kol miminu small ve'emtza shehi ateidah sheb'chinas tiferes." That hamshocha, transcendence from the yud to the vav, is also, there is involved over there the right and the left and the middle. In other words, the Torah is the middle, and the middle has elements from the right and elements from the left, which is chesed, kindness, and gvura is strict, in that sense of the word. And both these attributes merge into Tiferes, which becomes Tiferes. The beauty is in a mosaic. Too much good or too much strictness is, sometimes you need a combination of both to know how much each level needs according to its capabilities of absorbing. And this is how Torah is is able to come down from level to level, because it has a combination of the right and the left, and it has the center, the vav. It's able to transcend, descend lower and lower and lower. When you want to talk about emes, so the main idea from emes is vav. Titin emes the Torah leyankiv dafke shahuti b'chinas tiferes kavam tzoi kiyadua. And this is what it says, that you should give the emes from Torah to Yankiv. Emes leyankiv, this is from Torah to Yankiv. Why should you give Torah to Yankiv dafke? Why does it say Titin emes leyankiv and emes is the emes of Torah? Because Yankiv is the one who is Tiferes kavam tzoi, Avram is chesed, and Yitzchak is gevura, bitte, is and Yankov is tiferes. So Yankov Davke is the one who you give him Teire and he brings it down here lamato. Ach lehoy yochel lies minayev in matzeva b'chnis vav yod me'achash osa lo shalayev at shesomei somer ashesov liyesei b'chnis nekuda di yod b'bitul legabe yerakeser shenikra merashesov kenal, but it could not be from this even matzeva. That there should be a vav and the yud. Why? Because he lifted up that even. He lifted up that aveda from that us, from the Eisis Atere. And he lifted it up higher than his head. These some rashes of that it becomes an nekuda from yud, a total bittul, the bittul from Era Keser. That's called merashes of. It's such a high madrege, that yud, that even the biggest light is darkness compared to that level. In other words, it's totally a high level that's not in the realm of comparing anything. Nothing holds a candle to it. Is a is the hainu makiv the kesra. Now this is a cause to a cause. This is the Eibishter where he has no connection to world. He's just a cause to a cause that it's become just a possibility to become a world. So when you say he did an uplifting to that high madrege, that cannot come down here lamato. Not so simple. When something swallows, he can't spit out. In other words, now he's busy. Contracting. Now he's busy. When something is contracting, he can't expand. So right now he's totally bittled, totally nullified. The prin as a hochmek beshiv kines ein the bittel canal, when that kind from chochme in the highest madrege is null, is ein, is null, bittel, totally nullified, bottle is torid lemivla, it swallows in the higher madreges from Elikus, lekabel mepnimi is hakeser, v'leyochol is hamshocham mechochme detela agdum lemata klal. So then it cannot come down with Teda Lamato, because it gets uplifted and it swallows in all these high madregas that and it can only attain all these levels and the madregas when it's totally bittul and ayin and bittul. Shehi sigrimaylas hamokemach. So we say he did grasp, he did understand the greatness of that great pnimi. Pnimi is hakeser in tiferes as v'yesh shem havai b'mokem hazeh mamesh. And that there is that Shemavai in this Mokem Oz Hizik Sheyachil Love Gamkin Lamato Gamkin Mimchinas Helam the Chochma Agduma Sheyu the Evan Sheshaman Asesa Lamata Begili Gomor. But he still, because Yankiv was, like we say, Tiferes, and because Yankiv was able to be mamshich the emes from the highest madrege to the lowest madrege, and so he understood that there is a way to keep your composure and be where you are in spite of being mamshich all these madreges and in spite of being bebittel totally in bottle, because he felt that what happened in Ruchnis L'mayla. He felt it when he woke up, so he knew that this thing is shaykh, that it should happen begoli. Ulzei ishkim Yankiv b'Beker vayikach az ha'even vayos l'meisa matzeva she'os ha'isa ketzur zvav sh'nimshach min ha'yud d'choch me'ilo l'mata mamesh k'mei ha'even she'mamid l'meisa l'matzeva b'skifo. So he took begashmiz, he took that stone, he propped it up like a vav and that foundation of the yud and stood it up straight, standing straight. In other words, like it would be nimshach, that madrega l'mayla, the yud from choch me'ilo, and it would be nimshach l'mata. Dehainu shehim shech miyud choch me'ilo, the teresh shel maylo, li es hamshoch begilui beisis the teresh shemiksav teresh b'alpeh. That he basically was mamshich, that yud from choch me'ilo, from Teresh Shalom Ma'ilo, that this will connect to the Teresh Shebiksav and Teresh Shebal Peh L'mata. Because Yankiv could connect from Mavriach Yankiv Chevel Achalosei Midas Ha'emes Mavriach Min HaKotzer LaKotzer. Yisvazel V'yokem Edus B'Yankiv Davke. Teresh is called Edus, and Teresh has a kiyum, is able to, with Yankiv, with the Madrega from Yankiv, is Dafke, you can reach out from the highest level into Welt, v'teira some b'Yisrael, v'shiyankiv Dafke him shechsheres ha'teira, shenikra Edus b'mkeira arishin, that Dafke Yankiv is mamshich Teira from the highest level, and Dafke Yankiv could accomplish that. And this is what we say when we mean that this high madrega from Teira, he brought it down Dafke here lamata b'Yisrael. He says Yankiv Chevel Achaloschi, and he says these l'shenes are Yankiv and Teira some b'Yisrael. V'hainu Al Yidei Shehelos Even in the Kudah the Yud Chochma B'Tchiler Mashesov. How do we have the Keach? How does this happen eventually? Because in the beginning, he had the Keach to be Miled, that Evan. He was able to be Miled, that Nekudah, that Asias Hatera, into that Yud from the Chochma B'Tchila L'M Rashesav, to lift it up in the higher level L'M Rashesav, because it's Makiv the Keser HaKloli, to reach out and to arrive in this higher level from Chochmei Lo, the Makiv HaKloli. Shehu Shem Eke Anozom Min Lizgalom Be'elam Haba. This is the Shem Havai that is ready to Zol Nizgalavet in Elam Haba when Mashiach comes. By day, Allah says, B'chines Bittul, Gorma, B'chines Hamshocha, through this Allah in the B'chines from Bittul that Yaakov was able to accomplish, and now through our Aveda, is that's Geirem, the Hamshocha, She'osa Esa Achakach Matzeva, Liz B'tzuras Vov. He has to arrive to the bittul, to the yud, to the makiv hakoli, from Chochmei Lo, a total bittul, a total lion. And that's Geirem, that the Verta Hamshocha from Vov. There's a good foundation, the yud, and then there's Atzuris from Vov. The Chol Hamshocha Yefsher B'lei Aloha B'tchila. You can't have Hamshocha if there's no B'lei Ha'aloha Momata L'maylo. This is how the Eibishter made it, that there has to be the Aveda Momata L'maylo, and after that could be the Hamshocha Momaylo L'mata. The Ruach Haise Ruach. There is like a wave. You make a little wave and it makes later a big wave. Every effect that starts a little wind and later can make a tornado. One mitzvah you do here and you reach up higher, and then you could arrive to the highest madriga, and that in turn from the highest level that we're connected to the lowest level, it lifts us up slowly but surely to the highest level. Yankev is the connection from the beginning to the end. He goes up to the highest level. It comes down to K'nis Malchus. Malchus is the Bria from Yesh Mi'ayin, Elam is and the Bria from Bia. So Yankov is the one who's able to connect both places. Shenikra Matzeva, Behei, Meshkos of Eved Moasu Abenim Vidal. This is Ozhei. Is Yesh Lehovi Mashkos of Eid by Yitzek Shemen Al Reishom Davke. Ulchere Ma Hutzrach Litzig Hashem and Achash Kvar also 11 Zeis Matzeva Ritzir Vov. What did he need to? What is this thing about the shemen, the oil? Why did he need to add to this Aveda, to this high Madrege? The Gam Loma Yotzak Hashem Al Reisha Davke. Al Reisha means on the top of it, on the head of it. Even though that he made that stone in Matzeva, it's only a line, it's a very narrow one. This is very basic. Something comes down, close the Kam Shocher. The Teira Shemaila Anal, this high Teira, high Madregen Teira, the way it's Lamaila, Shetover the Gilim in a Helam the Atzmus Hamatzel Canal. There should be a possibility that from that Kudah, that from the Helam Atzmus, the Teira, the way it's there in such a high level, should there's a close the Hamshoche of some sort that comes down through that Kav after that Nekudah. And it comes down where? But it comes down Atzilus. Umi Atzilus, it comes down even further. Lubia. Bikelim, Mikelim, Shelim, Shehem Ramach Mitzvah Shabo, Bislapshim B'Chetzenis B'Dvorim Gashmim, till it comes down in Ma'aseh Mitzvahs B'Peil, in Dvorim Gashmim, Din Negam, K'mei Mitzvahs Tzitzis B'Tzemer Gashmi Utfilim, Klav Gashmi Kai Gavnem, that all these mitzvahs and the Torah that we learn, and it comes down in tangible Gashmis Dike in Yonim from world. So you say that there is a mitzvah tzitzis is in semen in Gashmis Dike wool and film Beklav Gashmi in Gashmis Dike Klav parchment Kai Gavne Kol Atera Kula Shenislap Shom Yonim Gashmim. That how do you do Torah with Yonim Gashmim? Nikra Kalim later Salyenim. And the Aveda of the Torah that we do over here through our putting on film and the parchment and everything else and the tzitzis, those are kelim. When you say the bracha and when you kiss that tzitzah and you do that mitzvah, it's mamshich. These are kelim, and it's mamshich eres ruchnis dikehai eres neil mislamailo. Mishkos of kineir mitzvah v'teirei. That mitzvah brings light, and Torah brings candle, brings fire, brings Torah is light. In other words, the keli of the mitzvah and the keli of the Torah brings air, brings light, brings energy, brings ruchnis dike hamshoches. V'gam asher Torah bo beisis gashmi b'Torah shebiksav. Achanikra Sefer Beis Ksuvi Malklav Gashmi. And when it comes down, the Gilei Elikus that is triggered, and it comes down and it connects to Teda, Dafke here in Teda and Gashmis. The Teda itself is tzitzis, tefillin, and the Teda itself is on a parchment written in physical letters. So through applying yourself and learning Teda and Mekayim mitzvahs, it becomes the keli to be mamshich those energies, those eres, eliki, that is nimshach through the physical gashmis dikatera and mitzvahs that we observe. And not only that, when there's a challenge, when there's a Veda, that we have to be challenged and we have to deal with deciphering and taking out the teiv, the good, the ruchnius, from the ra, from there's even evil involved over there. There's even things that are pselis, dirt, and in other words, things that are not ruchnius, the gashmizdike things. So we have to separate and when we learn Teda, we're dealing with what is Tomei, what is Toyer, what is holy, what is not holy. So we have to learn about different things, that not everything is holy, and we have to know this is yes and this is not, this is kosher, this is not kosher. And he talks about kosher and posel, toyer and tomei, chayev and zakai. Teda is not only talks about only positive, everything is good. The Teda talks about dealing with the good and the forbidden, with what you're allowed and what you're not allowed. So, and everything is Teda. Every letter and every word and every idea and issue that you talk and learn in the Teda, it's all Teda. Even though it came down so low in this world that you're talking about things that are totally unholy. So how does that, and because it came down so low, is hinile chol zeh hutzrach li is pnis hamshocha chadosha ba'atzm me'atzmus ha'chochme shebe'ein sof mamish. Because there is a Seder Ishtalshalus, there is a Helen Vehester, and it comes down lower and lower and lower and lower. So, as it comes down lower, you're supposed to add through your Aveda in learning and davening and Teda and mitzvahs that once you learn and daven, you become holier. And everything around you becomes holier, and you bring in more Elokus, you bring in Hashem, even in a higher level than in the highest levels up there. And that's what Yankiv did, and that's what's indicated in his Aveda of spilling oil on the Evan, even though the Evan became one Evan, even though it came back to its Nekudah. But in order for here Lamata, that to add the Kedusha and the holiness in this Klippas Nega, in this Elam Asiyah, in this world, that not only it becomes one and bottle to Hashem, there is an added feature over here, it becomes even holier and a higher level through adding of Teda and mitzvahs, adding that Shemen, that Toras Chassidus, and so on and so forth. This is the Shemen that is spilled and the Yud from heaven. So this is a higher level than Chochmei Keser. This is Talumis Chochmei. This is the what's hidden in Chochmei, that's hidden from Chochmei. It's even higher. Talum is Chachmei Lo shebe'atzmos mamish. U'biyicholto lahamshich b'chinas ha'er d'teira olyena sheyovei b'islapshus b'kelim shenim ba'albosha gashmim al derech moshel Hashem shebener shebiyicholto lahamshich ha'er sheyoyer b'tekev abhirus. And it's able to, that level of the Chochmeh that comes from the Torah that's hidden, from the Shemen, from the Seder Torah, the Eira Torah Ha'oyena, the higher level in Eir, it should come down in the Kelim over here in Gashmias. It's just like a candle, a fire lit in the candle, that when the candle is lit up, it doesn't matter where it is, how dirty it is, how low it is, how dark it is, it lights everywhere. So, by being mamshich, that candle from this highest level, and bringing it down here, it lights up over here also. Sheyoyer b'tekev habhirus, that it should light in the strongest clarity of light. And this is when you speak about bringing it from the Helem, from the Helem, from Legabe Chochmeh Ukamhu, that it's the darkness Legabe the Chochmeh in Keser over there. It's tied to Atzmus, and from that level comes down Lamata, and it makes the Gilui. That it should be Meir B'tekev Ubrius Behirus Shazel Lahavi Lavim and El Gilui. Omnam B'chinas Hashem Nazeh Shiras Hakaresha Hainu Shehim Shabri B'chinas Yud Churosh Avov. The Matzeva 7 said that he was Mamshich. This Yud, this is the Rosh Avov. In this Matzeva, Asher B'Yud Zed B'chinas Chochmei Lo K'mei Shehi B'chinas Bittul Behelem Dain Kanal. This Yud in Chochmei Lo, and it stands there in the Bittul in the Helem, in a Bittul from Ayin. Harei Kulim Bo Kol Ishpashus HaChochmeh Shebeteres the Mishpashus Beteres Shebeksav Ba'alochas the Teres Shebapem. In that level, it's already included all that's going to come later in the Teres and Alochen and in Teres Shebeksav Teres Shebapem. That comes out of it in his pastos. Is tzarich lehetzi kol zem in a helm legiloi and you have to in this world bring out all this Torah mitzvahs that it should start shining in a giloi al yidei Hashem and Azeh through the shemen that you spill on it v'zeu v'yitzik shemen al reisha davke umiyud zeh yumshach lamato lovei. And from that Yud, from that Bittul, from that Madrege, from the highest Madrege, that will come down Lamato, and that's gonna light up the Aveda from the Torah Mitzvahs, Gashmim, Do Lamato. V'zeh shkosu b'zeyar, Apostle v'shem, and al resh kol echsor. There won't be a lack of shemen on your head, those are the ones who do ma'asim tevim, azoves simin labonim, as b'chol echad ve'echad di yochol is gileir the teireh lovim b'mitzvah b'peil mamesh adei b'chinas shemen anal v'dal. That those people who live a life of teireh mitzvahs, not just in theory, but they live a life of teireh mitzvahs through ma'asim b'peil. They do ma'asim tevim when they learn Torah and they apply themselves and their time and all of their being into Avodas Hashem. Those are the ones who are mamshich that shemen from the hidden, that it comes down and there's nothing lacking in their Aveda, that the Torah and the madregas that Torah brings with it is all there through their devotion and through their Aveda. Another idea in understanding that there's what is the idea from spilling oil on that stone? Shagam b'yidei the Torah nigdus lo levushim gashmim. Ketalos utfilin kai gavnem. That also, when you take that Torah that comes down, that's revealed in talis and film, and in etc. As leyi yelavush hagashmi master klal b'chinas gilu erin sof sheberots ne'elyin shebemitzvezu, that there should not be hidden or darkness, something that blocks that this. There shouldn't be a levush, a clothing, the levush gashmi, the fact that it looks hidden. This shouldn't hold up that the gilui from Ein Sof, the Ras Ne'elyon, in this mitzvah should be begolui. It should be a revealed in and through this this gashmis the katalis and fil and the kahai gavna. That's what it accomplishes. The oil accomplishes. True, everything could be mile and masted. There's a certain element that the Shemin accomplishes that it does come down from the highest level of Maila till Lamata. Just like the mitzvah is detailed in its pure form, Lamaila. And you say that it's the Ras Ne'elyon. Over there, it's the detailed is in the highest level in the will of Hashem before the Elamish. That in this Ras Ne'elyon is the pnimius chochmei teresein agdesha shalzeh marachava mitzvos chomed knesses of mamish. That you say, when you say the chava mitzvos chomed, it's just like in the sheiresh elyon, the pnimius ras elyon. Over there, it's Ein Sof mamish. It's kachi lemato b'mitzvah agashmis sheyesh bo gilui Ein Sof k'mei l'maylo mamish. That we compare it and we say that it has the Gilui Ein Sof as Evi L'maylo. V'raya l'zeh min elam haba shu Gilui Ein Sof atzmei rak al dei ha-mitzvah shenasu be'elam hazvel v'zim gashmim davke zchar mitzvah atzmo. And the raya from this is from elam haba. This is a Gilui from the Ein Sof atzmei, and this comes through the mitzvahs that are done in Elam Hazeh. And Levushim Gashmim, because we say, Aschar mitzvah atzma. V'zeh shekosav le'ikonev as mitzvah ba'ad bash, hu shem havai mamish. Ve'in levush ha-mitzvah b'peil mamish nikra ester klal. Rak edover amunach b'kuf. So when you say that there is a mitzvah in tefillin, and a mitzvah in tzitzis, all the mitzvahs that we do, it's like you have something in a box, you have something in a package. So the package is just a means to carry it over from one place to the other. But it's not really that the thing is not there. The whole package is because of the thing that it's carrying. So the package is not only not something that divides. Actually, the package is useful to hold it and to bring it. Matam b'seiser means when somebody delivers a package, nobody knows who brought it. But the thing happened. The tzedakah came. And even though nobody knows where it comes from. So that place where it comes from is not so important as in the tzedakah that happened. The mitzvah is not so important, the tangible thing. The fact that it happened, that there's a connection between the mitzvah, the Torah from Lamata with Hashem in the highest level. So the fact that it's in the lavush, in the tzemer gashmi, in wool, and in the tefillin, and in parchment, this is like a package, but the main thing is there, the connection to Hashem, the ruchni is. When there's a level in Chochmah that's called Shemen that is higher from the air. In other words, the air draws from it, but the Chochmah itself is not really revealed yet. So in that level of Chochmah that's higher from air, Ein bo hester klal gilei nesof, even though there's no light yet, but that perpetuates the light. So in that level, there's no hester, there's no darkness, because there's no light, there's no darkness. It's totally a level that the gilei nesof is there, and it doesn't matter what level it is. It's still the same oil, no matter in what keli you put it. From this oil comes out a light. So that madrege in Chochmah that's still in the madrege of oil, where it's still not lit up yet, but this is the cause and perpetuates all the light to come forth. It doesn't matter what level it is, the highest level, the lowest level. It's before it was lit up. So no matter where you light it up, it draws from it, the Chochmah draws from it, and the Kedusha draws from it, and whether it's Lamayla or Lamata, it draws from the Chochmah, the deepest level, from the Chochmah, from Atzmos himself. As Ke'er and Seif Sheda b'Chochmah shebehelam Hashem and the Elyon, that the Eir and Sof is where it resides, mainly in the Chochmah, in the Helam Hashem and the Elyon. Lamata Kamei Lamaylo. This Shem and the Elyon, and Lamata Kamei Lamaylo, this is where Hashem likes to reside. The Chochmah, that's Kechochmah, the Ma'aseh Breishis, Yesh Bo Chiluk Madreges. When you talk about the Chochmah that's called Eir, there's Chiluk Madreges. There's a place where there's more light, there's a place where there's less light. The mitzvahs, even Torah, there's Chilukim Madreges, and the higher levels, the higher elements. In Atzilus Torah, you learn a lot deeper, and in Gan Eden a lot deeper, and Lamata is a lot less, and some people learn deeper than others. That's the way the Torah is in Giluyim, in Torah, that it comes down in Kelim from mitzvahs. And when you talk about Shemen, Chochmah, when you talk about the Shemen, the hidden aspect of Torah, that where Hashem resides in the hidden aspect of Torah, that's the hidden aspect of the Chochmah, where the Chochmah comes from, where the Torah comes from. It doesn't matter what level it is. And when you have that Shemen, when you have that oil, when you have that devotion of that level, the total bittul, when it doesn't matter what level of Torah mitzvahs it is, whether up on high or the lowest level, if a Yid devotes himself to Torah mitzvahs, it doesn't matter what level he himself is. As kol levushim shenim leyastiru klal klal. Doesn't matter any levushim. It's not mastered because he's connected to the shemen. V'zeu v'yitzek shemen al reisha. The yud, the chochmah shebeis avov. We're tapping into the yud from chochmah, and later there's amshocha from vav. Sheyuchel is gilei of mamish b'teres shebiksav shere ba'pel amato. That when we add that level of the shemen to that yud and the vav, and it should be able to be yeridas hamadregas, and teres shebiksav and teres sheba'pel amato, and because this shemen is brought in, so you have that gilei and stuff in Milo Mato. Lamato kamei lamayla mamesh gam shul lebesh zachoch mesh beteres b'ksav teres b'alpeh b'shavalpeh bekam levushim shenim. Even though there's so many levushim, not everybody is pure and holy and purified, and he has a lot of levushim a lot of layers of that he still has to clean himself up. But when he attaches himself to Chassidus, he attaches himself to the Rebbe, he attaches himself to the Shemen, he attaches himself to Hashem, before all that Gilead, before understanding, and before he's totally full of light and full of Ruchnius, but he attaches himself with all he's got, whoever he is, from his inside to the Pnimius, to the Shem and Mischus Kedesh, then he's connected to Hashem into the highest level. And that will be the Skala, the Asad Lovi, when Mashiach will come. Mishkosav Pas Lech Lecha being Gimel Kates in the Yud, being Heida Avram Barichas Vidal. That there's Gimel Kates, a Yud is made of a case Lamaila, a case Lamato, and a third case. So the case Lamato and the case Lamaila are connected, and sometimes they interconnect. So the bottom line is, doesn't matter where the case from the Yud is, as long as this is the Shem and Mischus Kedesh, that is the perpetuates and the cause of the Chochmei Law that you could tap into no matter what you are, once you learn through Teda and through mitzvahs and through the Aveda from the Ovis. And we connect through the Aveda from the Ovis. That's why we daven every day. Okay, Avram Mitzvah, okay, Yankiv. And that's why we know that their Aveda was Beruchnis. But after Matan Teda, every Yiddish Shayach, no matter what level and how many Levushim he is, to jump into the Aveda from Teda, mitzvahs, and Chassidus, and in 1 second to become a Chassid Yerushalayim and a Lam, and connected to Hashem and bring the Gula Mitzvah Shleim and take him Yad Mamish. Thank you very much for listening. Till the next time.